Neighborhood Alliance meeting. I'll tell you, I really do appreciate the fact that you've gone to the trouble to attend this virtual meeting. I've been told that you don't have to wear a mask tonight during this virtual meeting, so hope that's helpful to you. I'd like to welcome all of our guests that are here this evening. We've got a very big program, some important information for all of us, so I think it'll be something that we'll certainly appreciate as neighborhood leaders. To begin with, though, Raul, let's start with our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Again, I'd like to thank everyone who is attending this evening. We've got quite a few folks here from the San Antonio Police Department. We'll be led by Chief Karen Fawkes. We also have with us tonight our Bexar County Commissioner Trish DeBerry, which she'll go over some of the issues that everybody has been concerned with lately. We'll also get to hear from Elise Bernal, who will talk to us about this great program called Any Baby Can, that I know you're really going to enjoy that. We'll get to hear from Barbara Ankama, who's going to talk to us about something that affects all of us, and that, of course, is our neighborhood engagement. So I think those will be very good ones. And then we finish up the program with our recently re-elected City Councilman, Clayton Perry. So that we all look forward to hearing what his remarks happen to be. So let's go ahead and first of all start with Deputy Chief Karen Fawkes. Chief, you've got the floor.
Excellent, Mr. Gallagher. Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Perry. I appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening. I won't take too much time. Typically, I talk forever, so I'll try to shorten it. First of all, I'd like to say that community engagement for Chief McManus is one of his top priorities. I think if you've heard him talk, you know, that for him is huge. You see him at many meetings, you see him at different events. I don't know how one person can make as many events and meetings as he does. But for him, community engagement is really his top priority. So what he has decided is that he would like for his command staff to start making many of these meetings as well, and as many events as we possibly can. There's 2 assistant chiefs. There's 6 deputy chiefs as well. So I think amongst all of us, we can start making many more meetings, many more different events and different community engagements, if you will. And that way we can start talking to many more residents and you know, getting out the chief's message for him. And so that's one of the things that we're going to start doing. We're going to start increasing our presence at homeowners association meetings and many different community events throughout the city of San Antonio. So you'll expect to see more of us. The chief will still make all the same things that he does, but you'll see many more of his command staff at different events and such. And so that'll give us an opportunity to meet a lot more people, and then also to share the chief's message in a much more grander scale than we're able to now. So with that, I want to kind of talk about something that's a top priority for the police department right now, and that is, I think last year, hopefully some of you know about, if not, this might be the first time you're hearing about it, our city manager, Eric Walsh, committed to a review of police services. And so what that has meant is kind of been a 2-pronged approach by city leadership. One of the things that we did was we engaged with UTSA, and we had 2 professors who took about 3 years or so of our 911 call for service data, and they did a really deep dive and analyzed those different calls that we make. And what they're trying to do, or the attempt is to decide kind of what, looking in those calls, we're trying to figure out kind of what the expectations are, and kind of what the community expects regarding the role of the police in our community. And by that, what I mean is, with those calls that they looked at, they kind of looked at three aspects to that. Are those calls something that the San Antonio Police Department should be making? Or are those calls perhaps the San Antonio Police Department and perhaps another city agency or a nonprofit could make together in a co-response type situation? Or any of those calls better suited handled by another city agency or a nonprofit altogether, and the police not respond at all? So that study was kind of an analysis into that. And so we've heard the report. They did not make recommendations. That was not a scope of that project, but we were able to identify some of those calls that perhaps there were some agencies or nonprofits that could be utilized. So that's one thing that we're looking at. In addition to that, the city contracted with a institute, ETC Institute, to conduct a survey of residents. And that survey was conducted from February, about mid-February to mid-March. And this company set out to engage residents across the city within every council district. And this poll, or this survey, asked quite a few questions about the expectations of the community, and if they felt the police department was doing a good job, and how satisfied they were with the police department, and those sort of things. And just I kind of want to just give you kind of a high level, some of the summary of the major findings was from that survey. We found that the satisfaction is high for SAPD. 72% of those surveyed were satisfied or very satisfied with the response and the work that SAPD is doing throughout the city. And most San Antonio residents feel safe in their neighborhoods. So that was very encouraging. And so what I'm encouraging everybody to do, these meetings are still ongoing, and I'm sure Councilman Perry will speak to this later. But if everybody would go to www.sanantonio.gov/police services review, you'll find a page. It's SAPD and me. That will give you the link to, we're having community meetings. They're being held throughout the month of May. We've had several, and every council person, including Councilman Perry, they're hosting district meetings, as well as we're having community-wide meetings. And our city manager, our deputy city manager, Maria Villagomez, as well as Chief McManus, and several of his command staff are on all these meetings. And what's happening on those meetings is the deputy city manager is giving a full report on the survey that I spoke briefly about. She's giving a kind of a synopsis of the UTSA study, and kind of giving a breakdown of what that analysis was. It's very informative. And so if you go to that website, there's a link to the meetings, and there's about 5 or 6 probably left in the month of May. And it'll give you a link to the surveys and the reports, a completely detailed results of the survey, as well as the different reports that have come out from this review that the city manager called for. Is very informative. So I encourage you all to go to that site and look at what we're doing. Because this really is about the expectations of our community and what they feel the role of our police should be within the community. So I encourage everybody to go to that site.
Well, thank you very much, Chief Fawkes. That is just great, and I'm so pleased with that number, 72% satisfaction. That's something that I think everybody in uniform can be very, very proud of. That's
Absolutely.
really great. Well, thank you very much for your
Absolutely.
time, and for the other officers that were here this evening. We really appreciate you being here, and we are waiting to see your faces at all those neighborhood meetings that'll be coming up as we get to meet again. Very, very good. Okay, let's move right along now and head over to Bexar County. And let's talk to Commissioner Trish DeBerry. Welcome aboard, Trish.
Thank you, Mike Gallagher. Always an interesting evening when you're at the helm, so I appreciate you taking leadership on this. And if I could take a point of personal privilege and just say congratulations to Councilman Perry on his reelection. I was proud to offer up an endorsement to Councilman Perry. Campaigns are not easy, so especially in this day and time. So, Councilman Perry, we are glad as a fiscal conservative that you are still a part of the council. So. With that, I'll transition into speaking of fiscal conservatives. Hopefully, everybody on this call, if you got your appraisal and it was not where you thought it would be, because everybody thinks that during a pandemic, maybe we should have frozen property taxes and certainly not increased them, but that did not happen. So today was the last day to file your appeal. So I hope that you've done that. Certainly, there are several exemptions that people can take, but look, I'm just going to be honest with you. We did a podcast on what you need to know about property taxes and the appraisal system, and I'm on the Bexar Appraisal District, so I'm going to fight that good fight. But I need some help with that, and that means it is your civic duty to protest your property taxes. They're expecting a record number associated with that, and at the end of the day, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because that means the county collects less in property taxes, but I will tell you that the appraisal system, and we've been tracking bills in the legislature relative to that. Steve Allison's doing a good job on that. I'm hopeful that we do have some incremental appraisal reform that happens in the state legislature. But in the meantime, we as individual taxpayers need to do our duty and protest our appraisals. And I'm going to do my part. I'm going to advocate for a tax cut at the county. Even if it's small, every little bit helps. So let me know. I mean, we want to be accessible. If you guys have questions about the appraisal process and contesting, some of it is a little bit intimidating, but we're happy to help you navigate that process. Secondly, Mike Gallagher referred to it, and that is the CDC's recommendations that we do not have to wear masks anymore, which I was on the COVID update on Thursday, talking about the fact that that was a day for celebration. I had so many people that came up to me and said, I don't understand why I have been fully vaccinated, but yet I still have to wear a mask. Well, guess what? That's not the case anymore. But the city has already lifted their mask requirements at city facilities. I'm sure that Councilman Perry can weigh a little bit more into that. But I immediately went to the judge to say, hey, we need to lift that mask requirement at all county facilities. It's a little more complicated at the county, especially the courthouse, because we have jury trials and we have district courts and we have county courts, we have magistration. So I would expect an announcement this week detailing what exactly is going to happen with the mask ordinance. But I, for one, I really say it is a day of celebration and joy. And it means we are returning to a level of normalcy. So I'm incredibly thankful for that. Thirdly, from a transportation standpoint, make sure you all are aware what's happening on 1604. TxDOT has been letting out contracts. The first one being, I believe, west of the interchange. That's the first portion on 1604, and then it moves into the interchange at 1604 on I-10, and then I think it moves upwards onto 1604. So there's going to be a little bit of short-term pain as we look at the expansion of 1604 from 2 lanes to 4 lanes in both directions. And granted, we need it. There's no question. But I think the opportunity for either Gina Gallegos, who's with TxDOT, the engineer locally, to be able to come and make a presentation to your group, I think would be incredibly helpful, because there's going to be frustration associated with that, but it's only short term. But they are letting out the contract, so you guys need to be aware of that. And fourthly, tomorrow at Commissioner's Court, we will be hiring an energy consultant, and I know Councilman Perry has been serving on a committee for the city, digging into what happened during the freeze. we're doing the same thing. We at the end of the day want to be able to hold people accountable. And a lot of my constituency, not necessarily in this area within the city limits, but outside the city limits in the county, rely upon CPS for energy, that we have zero representation and we get no funding associated with that. So hopefully this energy consultant brings about some accountability associated with what happened during the freeze. And so I'm happy to work with Councilman Perry as we look at solutions as we move forward, because what happened is certainly unacceptable. And there are people that need to be held accountable. So with that, I will turn it back over to you, Mr. Gallagher. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much, Commissioner DeBerry. I'll tell you, we really do appreciate that good news, because I know all of us have struggled through the temperature problems and so forth, and then also just trying to drive up the highways. I mean, that's
Exactly.
when they start calling them parking lots instead of highways, you know we're in trouble. So. Okay, moving right along, and thank you very much for that, Commissioner. We now are going to hear all about a very interesting project, Any Baby Can, from the president and CEO of this wonderful organization, Elise Bernal. Welcome aboard.
Thank you so much, Mike. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, and I know that my camera is very choppy, so please bear with me. I'm going to be looking a little bit crazy for the next couple of minutes here. So my name is Elise Bernal. I am the president and CEO at Any Baby Can. We have been around for 40 years, and I really appreciate this opportunity, Mike. And I just wanted to thank the councilman's office and also congratulate you guys on your reelection for inviting us to be here today. As a neighborhood president of the Five Points neighborhood, which is actually where Any Baby Can is housed and where I live, I understand how hard it is to do this work and to be an advocate for your neighborhoods. I just appreciate all that you do. But so back to Any Baby Can. Again, we have been around for almost 40 years. And despite the name, we serve so much more than just babies, and the scope and the scale is really much bigger than many people perceive it to be. So I wanted to kind of go into very quickly our services, and then if there's time for any questions, we're happy to answer that. I also have Anita Galvan, who's our grants officer here, and Chrissy Torres, who's our outreach specialist, who's also here. So we have 4 programs, and I wanted to preface all of them with the fact that these programs are not offered anywhere else in the region. Many times they're not even offered in the state. There is no cost to any of the services that I am going to list out to you. They are needs-based, they are not income-based. So any income, we do not turn away anybody because of an income. Because of the income requirements is what I was trying to say. But what we do is we offer case management services for families who have a child with special health care needs between the ages of 0 to 17, and that can be any medical diagnosis. That can be ADHD or autism, which is one of the more common diagnoses that we serve. It can be cancer. It can be cerebral palsy. I'll give you an example of a family that we serve, because I think that's the best way to really hit the story home. So we had a 2-year-old that came to us for help. His name is Elon. He has special needs. He has a single mother. Mom lost her job because of all of the surgeries that he required, and she had too much time away from work. She ended up losing her housing, lost her income, and now has no way to help Elon get through his medical care. When she came to us, we sat down with her and we did a custom plan. What are the things you're needing, Mom? We know Elon needs help, but you need work, you need housing. We're going to work with you on a plan to get you all those things. In about 9 months, we were able to help connect her to housing, to employment, got her connected to Social Security benefits and insurance plans to help her and her child. So she's no longer in crisis, but she's in a position to help her child. That's an example because it's not one size fits all. It's really what these families are coming to us with, and it's not just the child, but the whole family. The other one is a prescription assistance program, and that is available to all ages, Bexar County and the surrounding 18 counties, primarily for folks who are having trouble affording their medications. Many of the folks that we serve are needing assistance for their maintenance care medications like diabetes, sometimes depression. We do not pay out the cost of these medications. We have advocates on staff who are former pharmacy techs. They go through the pharmaceutical companies and they work with doctors' offices, and they're like ninjas. They get these medications either for free or really low cost. If that doesn't work, we'll get you some prescription coupons. Last year, we saved our patients $2 million in out-of-pocket costs in medications that we were able to secure for them that they would have gone without otherwise. We have an autism services program, which has two components. One is to help families individually, as you know, when your child is on the spectrum, that can look many different ways. For some, it could be your 3-year-old being nonverbal. For others, it can be just, you know, it can be all kinds of different ways. But when you're trying to potty train or get your child ready for school or get your child ready for college, it can be extremely daunting. So we have programs that help these families get through and navigate that journey. Now, the community training, which the officers may be pretty excited about, is we do a lot of first responder training with officers, with SAPD, with Bexar County Sheriff's Department, with our EMS and our fire department. We talk with law enforcement officers about what developmental disabilities, especially autism, looks like, how it's an invisible disability, it may not look the same, so that there's better understanding between families and our law enforcement officers over how to communicate with each other, and just have better understanding and inclusion. And then the last program, I always want to preface this last program with a little bit of sensitivity, because I know that it's a very difficult topic, but something that we have to talk about, because unfortunately we've got folks in our community who are dealing with this. But we have a bereavement support program called the Center for Infant and Child Loss. And this is a program available to caregivers who've lost a child for any reason between the ages of 0 to 17. If they're having trouble affording the funeral or in need of a plot, we help provide the financial assistance to provide a proper dignified burial for these young ones. We also provide palliative care support. So unfortunately, if a child or a young person is, you know, facing end of life, and mom and dad have jobs that do not allow them to, you know, miss work without missing a paycheck, we will help cover the bills for a month or two so that they can spend more time with their child during end of life. And then the last part of that program is that we do cover counseling and we do cover grief support. The first 4 sessions for free. And if they're in need of more, we will work with them. That also includes miscarriage support and resources. So the reason why I mention this and go into the detail of each of these things is, again, I want to emphasize these programs are not offered anywhere else. There is no barrier to come in and see us if you have a child with special healthcare needs, or you lost a child, or you need help with your prescription drugs. So I want to pause there, take a breath, and thank you again for having us. But please, if you know of folks who are in need of these services, we want to be able to help and be a resource to you.
Very good, Elsie. One question I think that some of the neighborhood leaders have been asking is, what is the best way to reach your office?
So the best way is to call us or visit our website. And I can put that information in the chat and make sure that I send that with you guys. And we will make sure we get with those families as soon as possible. Our office is also, we just returned back in person, but we're open to the public June 1 in person. We're still offering all of our services, but just in a virtual capacity.
Very good. And we'll go ahead and in our follow-up report to pass along that information that you provide to us. So we really do appreciate that. Thank you very much for being here this evening. I know a lot of these neighborhood leaders are very pleased to hear from you. Okay, moving right along. Now we get to hear from Barbara Ankema. She's going to talk to us about something that affects all of us, and that's neighborhood engagement. Barbara, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gallagher. And Thank you also, Councilman Perry. Congratulations on winning your seat back. That's one less person to have to, give all this new information to. So I was like, okay, one less person. But thank you again. I'm Barbara Nkuma Burford. I'm the Neighborhood Engagement Administrator with the city's Neighborhood and Housing Services Department. Our Neighborhood Engagement Division is a team of 3. So myself and my 2 other team members, Mario Gutierrez and Elizabeth Mercado, and we really work to be a resource to the neighborhood associations, HOAs, and the residents. And what we've been focusing on as of recent is really in building more engagement opportunities. We went through a process of surveying, holding virtual community conversations to get feedback as to what our residents and neighborhoods wanted, and engagement was at the top of the list. More opportunities to share their concerns, request information from us, request trainings, workshops. And so we focused a lot on building those things. We've really built out our website to be a resource. When the pandemic hit, so many associations were, like, oh, how do I do a WebEx? How do I do a Zoom? We got several requests of, I don't know what to do. Can you build a manual? So we built manuals that are available on our website, step by step, of how to do these meetings virtually. And I'm really glad to see that y'all have kept up, utilizing, this virtual platform, because I know we've heard from several associations who were literally like, I'm going to wait this out. We want to meet in person. And so really applaud y'all for continue to engage your members. So, we've done a lot of that, and these, conversations that we've had have been really frank and open and honest conversations about what we needed to step up and do more. And so we took a step back, and based on all the feedback, really built out the neighborhood engagement strategy. I actually presented this strategy April 5th to the Culture and Neighborhood Services Council Committee meeting, and it focused on learning, messaging, and conversations. And so on top of, creating spaces for, and, just engagement and conversations and sharing, we also have a Neighborhood Leadership Academy. And, it's really worked out very well in this virtual realm. So well that we're going to do 3 more little tranches of our Neighborhood Leadership Academy. But this academy is really based on empowering our residents in our neighborhoods to have just a really good foundation and knowledge of city programs and services. Eric Walsh, our city manager, kicks off the academy by welcoming everyone and really explaining what his role is. Oftentimes, so many, individuals will be, are confused between the mayor's role and the city manager's role. And so he does a really good job of just kind of laying out, like, I'm basically, his role is like running a corporation, and he talks about that and answers questions. And then we also, highlight other areas, our budget department, because that's always, our always a topic of conversation of, how our budget gets allocated. And so that program, the Neighborhood Leadership Academy, has really been important, and so much so we've gotten, requests from SAHA. We have case managers who need those resources and that information as to what the city provides for those residents that live on our properties. So we're going to do a pilot with SAHA to educate them, and hopefully educate our other service providers and community partners who provides resources and information. 2 upcoming engagement opportunities that we're really excited, and one happening tomorrow, our Neighborhood Leaders Quarterly. So the concept behind the Neighborhood Leaders Quarterly was to allow for an opportunity for not only the president, but anybody who has a leadership role in their association or just in their community to come together and talk about topics important to them. And so our first meeting is tomorrow at 5:30. We have 45 participants signed up. I remember when I presented this, Councilman Perry was like, what if you get 200 people? What are you going to do? And I was like, well, I guess we'll cross that bridge. But we're at 45, and we actually anticipate more. I got several calls from people saying, I'm sharing this, and we're encouraging more people to sign up, and we definitely are welcoming everyone, because a big piece that we heard was inclusivity. Everybody wants to be included at the table, and so we've created those spaces for that to happen. The following week on the 27th will be our neighborhood engagement stakeholder group. And the focus of that in group is to a sounding board for us. We'll bring ideas to this group and really flesh them out. We presented about 10 concepts. We had, for example, this developer roundtable concept that wasn't quite fleshed out, received that well. And so that's going to be one of the first items that that group tackles. We'll really talk that through. So again, we are creating lots of opportunities to engage our residents, our neighborhoods, and just a variety type of meetings based on what they've said they want. And we continue to be responsive to, questions, concerns. We try to do our best. Hopefully, Mike, when you get our neighborhood engagement brief, that gets shared as out as much as possible, because we always put in there, invite us to your neighborhood, invite us to your association meetings. We're always asking to be included and invited, especially since it's a little tricky now that people have either, might be not meeting as much and hopefully ramping back up, given that, things are kind of changing. So yeah, so that's kind of neighborhood engagement in a nutshell. Again, we're very flexible, very open. We attend a lot of the community events, and hopefully those things start again, because that's how we kind of get out as well. And we also kind of play a dual role where we share a lot of our department's information with the assistance that we provide to the community, whether it be rehabbing homes or rental assistance, which we're, still in the throes of. And so, yes, that's it for me.
Very good, Barbara. Thank you very much. That's a lot of good information. I'm glad to hear about those events that are coming up. And go ahead and any of those you get to us, we'll make sure we get them out to all of the neighborhoods that are on our list. And that's a lot of neighborhoods. And I know that people are concerned about that. I'll tell you one thing that I am a little bit worried about, and I'll try to use an appropriate PC term, but the majority of our officers in our neighborhoods nowadays are mature. And I'm just thinking that we've got to think about some way to attract some of the younger people to join our associations and become officers in them.
Mike, we hear that often. I mean, we hear that all the time, that there's real concerns, how do I succession plan? How do I bring in, those that can, add, keep this going and not hold someone kind of hostage, having being in this role. We actually built a PowerPoint around that, how to attract, new members to your association. So if you would like us to come to any meetings and present that, offer some ideas that we have, more than happy to do that.
Excellent. Yeah, because I think there's a great need, especially with the fact that over this last year, people just have not been meeting. And I worry very, very much that a lot of the leadership may have been lost that we need to have. So that'll be great. That'll be a good, aggressive program we can use. Okay, moving right along. We now get to hear from our District 10 Councilman, Clayton Perry, on the latest issues from the city of San Antonio. Councilman Perry.
Well, thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate it. And, it's good to be back. It's not like I ever left, but getting reelected. And I tell everybody, especially the city staff, you're just going to have to put up with me for 2 more years. And I get a lot of chuckles from that. And along with everyone really well. And we're providing so many services across the city nowadays that, just when I first got here to San Antonio back in '91, the amount of services has just gone up dramatically that's being offered by the city. And you and I, everybody on this call in every neighborhood need to take advantage of those things, because guess what? You're paying for them. And you have to take a look at that saying, wow, my taxes are going to pay for this service or that service. And if it's something that you could use or need, by all means, jump in there and sign up for them. Reach out if you're having trouble finding information about whatever service you're looking for. Call my office and let us know, hey, I need some help here, and we'll gladly and find you that person or individuals that can help you with whatever you need. And part of what we try to do here, both on the NNA and my District 10 council meetings, is try to educate everybody what is available to you, what services that the city offers. And just like tonight, we had Any Baby Can, which is a nonprofit. You know, we've got, and I just asked Paul this, Paul, how many nonprofits do we have just in District 10?
It's roughly about 45.
45 nonprofits. And all of those nonprofits, they offer so many different services to our community here. I mean, I like to point out one of them that has been very, very successful, and that's Blessed Angels there on Nacogdoches, giving baby supplies, adult supplies, you know, everything you can think of, toys during Christmas, a lot of different opportunities there for people to use and reach out and use some of those services that they provide. They even got a little community center there that they have get-togethers and play games and different. They had what was it, parking lot bingo. I wasn't able to make it out there, but I heard that was a very eventful situation that they had out there. So we're going to continue to do this on these calls, is have those different nonprofits come in and talk to us about what services they provide. And what we're going to do, and the staff doesn't even know this yet, and I'm sure they're going to take notes here. We're going to compile a list of all of our nonprofits here in District 10. We're going to have a little snippet in there about what that nonprofit does, what they provide, contact information, phone numbers, email addresses, and get that out across the district here. Mail it to everybody so that you can put it on your refrigerator or whatever and have available, saying, yeah, I could use that help. I could use that service. And did you get all that, Paul? I'm sure Paul's got all that down. So I'm excited about that, to get that information out as much as we can. But let me tell you, it feels so good to be reelected and not have to go through a runoff. I was really dreading that about, you know, possibility of going through a runoff, but I'm happy to be elected right out the gate. And trust me, we are working hard already. It's like we never really stopped. You know, I didn't really take off a lot of time on the campaign trail, but now the floodgates are open and we're at it every day. Speaking of which, you know that our office has basically been closed for over a year, but we have never slowed down on our services. Everybody's working from home and doing a fantastic job. It's just really a joy to see our neighbors still getting that customer service, no matter where we're located at. In today's technological advances of computers and WebExes and everything, we're still able to do everything that we did up in the office. But we're looking at moving back into the office sometime in mid-June. And we're going to do like a rotating schedule where everybody's not there all at one time. If you've been to our office, it's pretty small. And I'm actually looking to try to expand our footprint as far as the office goes and get everybody in there when everything gets back to normal. But come visit us. We'll let you know when we're open back up, and come on up there and visit with us. It would be great to see you. Speaking of which, we're talking about things kind of getting back to normal. You know, our libraries are open. Our senior center is open only at 25% right now, but I think that's going to be changing here soon. But I want to let you know that we're going to go back to personal meetings at the Tool Yard. Yay! Come on, let's see all the clapping. Come on, everybody on the screens, clap. Yes. Paul, you didn't clap. Anyway, all right, there we go. Yeah, we are going to get back to live meetings. We worked out the issues with the city staff, and we're going to offer a little bit more spacing so that those that want to come to our meetings again are certainly welcome. And it's going to be great to see your smiling faces. And I'm sure Joe Alexander is still she's going to get that oven going again with those brownies and cookies. So I'm looking forward to that. Yes, yes. Thank you, Joe. If you're out there, thank you again. But we're going to open that back up, and I think we're going to do that the next meeting in June, the third Monday of the month. That's the 21st of June. So be ready. We'll get out plenty of advertising out there. Oh, by the way, advertising through the newsletter and through our other social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I don't even know what half of that stuff means, but we're going to get information out there for everybody to take a look at and be informed. If you're not getting my newsletter, please sign up. If you don't know how to sign up, call the office, 210-207-7276. That'll get you to Cynthia, and she'll tell you how to do it, or do it for you, or you don't even have to do it. So sign up for that newsletter. It's a lot of good information that comes out on that thing. So I can't wait to see everybody's smiling faces again at the tool yard. I'm looking forward to that. Let's talk a little bit more about what's upcoming here in the city. You know, we're going to have Fiesta again this year. Yay. Yeah. All right. But it's going to be at a smaller scale. I don't know how that's going to work, but we're going to have Fiesta again. And let's see, what date is Fiesta starting, Paul? Isn't it starting that same? Do you know what the dates are? The 17th or something like that? I think it's the 17th of June is when it starts.
Right.
But guess what?
You made me Google it.
What?
You made me Google it. It's June 17th to June 27th.
I guess right then. Okay. Anyway, what has District 10 done every year that we've had a Fiesta downtown? We've had a mini Fiesta up here in District 10. We're going to do that again. We're in the planning stages of that, but circle the date on your calendar. Let's see, we're going to do that on the 14th of June. We kind of say we lead the city in Fiesta events, and we kick them off before the city does. So we're going to do this on the 14th of June. And if you remember past Fiesta events, we've had city services out there like the safe officers. We've had SAWS, CPS, a lot of different giveaways. We've had entertainment at these and great food. The arcade group has catered that before for us, and I suspect we're going to get them again. So come on out. We have a great time. And the special thing that you will get, I will personally hand out my new Fiesta medal. Okay. I got to be honest with you. It's not a new one. It was from last year, but I got a whole big pasteboard box just crammed full of metal. So I got to get rid of them. I don't want to keep around. But let me tell you, they're the most coveted medals here in this city. So they're collector's items. In fact, if you go back and try to find my first one from 2000, you can't find it. It was an individual hat, the fedora hat. The next one was, what was the next one, Paul? It was the one with me. Somebody called me. They said I looked like a Shar-Pei puppy on it. I had so many wrinkles all over my neck and everything. They said, "Oh, look, it's a Shar-Pei puppy up there." But anyway, that was the next one.
That was the official Party Perry.
Yeah, Party with Perry. That's right. That's right. And this one, I'm not going to tell you what it is. You'll have to come to the party to get your Fiesta medal. And I tell you what, and this is the honest truth. I got an email today from a guy that said, "Are you giving away Fiesta medals again?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Hold one for me. I want one of your Fiesta medals." So I got to hold one of them for him. And I've got people calling from around the city. "I want one of your Fiesta medals." So that's why I say it's the most coveted Fiesta medal here at San Antonio. I can't believe that people go around collecting those things from different people. But there's Party with Perry. Hold that up there. Yes. Oh, you still got it in the original package. That's going to increase in value 10 times. Let me tell you, that's going to be great. But anyway, so get that on your calendar, spread the word. We have a great time out there. It's at the Catholic Life Building. We got a pavilion out there, and we set up tables and chairs and all that kind of thing. So it'll be outside the way it always has been, and we'll have a great time out there. Let's see. We've got that the thing with SAPD, that survey that was talked about a while ago, the one that I wanted to draw your attention to, it's on the 22nd of May at 11 a.m. in the morning. So we'll get information out. Let's see, it's already been told about the website, but we'll re-advertise that and get that information out for everybody. And let me tell you, I am so happy with the results that we've gotten back so far. 72% people here responding to this thing has really appreciates our police department and the things that they do for us every day. So again, I'm very happy that it's turning out that way. We've had some troubling times over this last year, but I still truly support our police department and the things that they do every day out there. So yeah, good job on filling out those surveys, but attend this next one on the 22nd of May. We talked a little bit about masks. You know, there's new guidelines about wearing a mask. We'll follow those guidelines at the tool yard whenever we start those meetings again. Like I said, we're going to space out the seating a little bit more, but we'll follow those guidelines. And then if you still want to if you don't want to attend those meetings, you don't have to. We're still going to do these virtually where record it. We'll put it on media again. But if you want to watch it live, we'll have it just like tonight and get that information out to you. It was mentioned that I'm on this emergency preparedness committee. I'm there every Friday, 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock downtown in meeting. And if you want to see what's going on at those meetings, sign in to TVSA and watch what goes on. We're kind of getting close to the end on this. We're going to be getting some recommendations here soon. We kind of had an outbrief with SAWS this last Friday. We're going to get the same thing from CPS and the city as well from Eric Wall, Paula Gold Williams. So we're working to set that up over the next several weeks, and hopefully we'll be done with this whole thing about the 15th of June, middle of June. So hang on to your hat. We'll see where that all goes, and see. You can go out and see the answers to the questions that we posted out there already. They're still being updated every day as they come in, but that's available out there also. Paul, have we put the link out in the newsletter this last time? Okay, yeah, we've got the link in the newsletter that you can go out and take a look at the answers along with the questions and kind of stay up to date with what's going on with that committee. If you're wondering, this last campaign, again, what I've told everybody, my stripes have not changed. And I have the same top 3 priorities that I had back in 2017. And I think it's important that we stay consistent here in District 10. And my top 3 priorities have always been safety and security. That's our #1 priority in making sure that people feel safe in their homes or walking down the street, going to the park, that kind of thing. The next priority was infrastructure, you know, making sure we got good streets and drainage and that kind. I know we got problems out there. We got tremendous problems, but it's all a matter of prioritizing with the projects in relation to how many resources we have. In other words, the dollars that go along with it. So we're always looking at those lists and refining them and coming up with better solutions every day to upgrade our infrastructure out there. And the last priority was property taxes. You know, I started a homestead exemption here in San Antonio. John Courage joined me in that effort, and we got that passed after 3 years that I have been pounding the rock on that. We've got that passed, and yes, it's at the lowest level. That I realize that, but we got our foot in the door, okay? And what I'm going to be going after this budget season is to actually increase that homestead exemption to make it more meaningful for folks that are struggling out there on paying their property taxes. Mine went up $20,000 again. I don't know why. I didn't do any improvements or anything, and you know, my neighbors have not done anything, and everybody's shaking their head saying, why? You know, what's going on here? So anyway, I'm going to do my civic duty like the commissioner said, and I'm going to protest this thing. In fact, I think I mailed that protest thing. I'm going to have to check on that. If I missed it, I'm going to have to go down there and do the mea culpa and say, hey, please let me in the door. So anyway, everybody should be doing that to, take them to task, make sure that they are valuing your property correctly, and that you understand what your exemptions are, and make sure that you're signed up for those, and talk with those committees to try to reduce that payment. I did last year, and it really helped. I'm going to do it again this year. I'm not going to tell you when mine, from the city perspective, you get your property taxes frozen once you turn 65. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but mine are going to get frozen this year. So I'm all excited about that. Anyway, those were my main topics I wanted to talk about. Just looking at my notes here. I'm available for any answers. I really thank the commissioner for coming on. Again, very, very important items that she talked about. Any Baby Can is great. And there again, that's one of these nonprofits that does a lot of great work here in the community. And our housing neighborhood services that in helping us fill these positions. I know I looked at it when I first moved in the neighborhood here, if I should get on the board or not. And I said, I'm gonna go ahead and do it to give back to my community. And that's the way we should all look at it, is giving back to your community and keeping it up to date, and keeping their values up, that kind of thing within your neighborhood. So it's very important to get that new blood in there. Councilman Gallagher and I are getting way too old for this stuff. And
Hey, wait a second.
Speak for myself, right?
Yes, there you go.
We're still active, and it's a pleasure to serve the community and serve this district. It's an opportunity that I cherish. I know Councilman Clamp, one time he said, Clayton, this is the best job you'll ever have. And it's turning in to be that way. I love it. I love supporting the community. I love helping people where I can. And that's what it's all about, is supporting the community and being that public servant and providing that customer service. And I want to give a shout out to my staff. We got a few of them here. We got Steve Peterson. Wave, Steve. I know he's got his good Aggie shirt on. All right. Yeah. They got Paul Jimenez, Chief of Staff, and Raul Ubitas. He's helps me with the policy business. Is there any other staff folks on here? Yeah, I don't see anybody else.
They're on the YouTube. They're on the YouTube side.
Oh, they're just watching. Okay. Yeah, we got Landry Stafford that helps with communications, Samantha Wickwire with zoning, Jarvis Swallow that helps with day-to-day communication with the residents out there, our neighbors. And I think that's it. And Cynthia Garcia, she's my executive assistant, and she's usually one of the first people that folks talk to. And I've been told she's very sweet and very nice, and really helps out the team from her position. So no, she is. I'm just kidding out there, Cynthia, if you're on. But yeah, everybody works together as a team. We just had a team meeting, and we're thinking of things that we can do better this next 2 years. And one of them is going to be a traveling. We got to figure out what to call this, but we're going to have a road show. We're going to, since, trying to, just like we were talking about earlier, generate some interest in our communities and our neighborhoods out there. We're going to take our show on the road and go out there and maybe have some surprises or food or something like that to create some excitement in the neighborhoods, and get out there and talk to them and listen to what they have to say. They got problems or issues or need some help or whatever. We're going to take, it's a road show. That's the way I'm looking at it. It's a road show. So if anybody has a good name for it, let us know. We got to call it something, some kind of catchy acronym out there. So I'm looking forward to that as well. I'm sorry.
Nice job, Councilman. Really was. A lot of material left to go over tonight.
Okay, all right. I'm getting the hook.
Sore.
I'm getting the hook.
No, you really did a
All right,
good job.
sir, thank you.
You bet. We appreciate it very much. And I would like to thank all of our speakers this evening. You've really done a good job, all of you. I hope that those of you who are watching this evening are taking a lot of good notes. And I promise one of the things we'll do is follow up. Mark White, our secretary, I'm sure is taking excellent notes. We'll get all this information out to everybody so you'll know who to call, who to contact if you've got any questions. Plus, think of what you heard tonight. These would all be great briefings for your own neighborhood association meetings. So make sure you follow up and take care of that. And let me just repeat what the councilman said there. Their next District 10 neighborhood leaders meeting is going to be June 21st. And that'll be at 7 o'clock. Write that one down. Paul, get out your crayon and write that down. And the next Northeast Neighborhood Alliance meeting will be on July 14th. And we want to make sure that everybody turns out for that one as well. And Councilman Perry, that was sure great news about the tool yard being opened back up again for these meetings. I think that's wonderful because, like you, I really do miss those face-to-face meetings. The one important thing that I don't know that everybody knows that's watching tonight is that we also have members not only from District 10, but also from District 2 and District 9. And of course, those folks who are watching, you've got a big responsibility. You've got to turn out and vote for this June 5th runoff. That's going to be the decision you make could have a profound effect on the future of that city council. So please, again, that's Saturday, June 5th for that election. And they're, of course, going to start early voting on May 24th. So get that down and get over there to the polls and vote. We want to hear what your voice has to say about it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending our Northeast Neighborhood Alliance meeting. We look forward to seeing you at the next one. With that, this meeting stands adjourned. Thank you.